Stand 2. Number 2 gun, fire!
Hello and welcome aboard HMS Warrior. I'm Sally Taylor from South Today.
And I'm Simon Willis of Look North, and we've joined forces to celebrate a success story which involves both of our regions.
Yes, it's a birthday party. It's exactly 1 year ago today that this Victorian warship came to Portsmouth after a £7 million restoration in Hartlepool. Warrior, Britain's first ironclad battleship, is over 120 years old. But after being the world's most powerful warship, she slipped into decline and decay.
But the skilled craftsmen of Hartlepool restored her to her former glory, bringing much-needed work to the town and helping to create a number of successful spin-off industries. She's now one of the South's major tourist attractions, along with other historic ships here. So there's been plenty to celebrate here today. James Trollope, a former colleague of mine in Newcastle, now a reporter with South Today, recalls Warrior's momentous homecoming and today's anniversary celebrations.
From Hartlepool to Portsmouth, the hard way. A 4-day voyage of 376 nautical miles. 7 years of restoration put to the test. A tribute then to northeast craftsmanship that HMS Warrior returned south in tip-top condition. She'd left Portsmouth a decaying hulk in 1929. She returned in style to a tumultuous welcome. That was a year ago. Now Warrior is firmly established at her new home. She's in fine shape, and senior quartermaster Jan Hooper is in fine voice.
Hoist!
The flag signalling 1ST anniversary, and Warrior is set for many more birthdays to come. Life at Portsmouth Dockyard suits her, as did her former life on the ocean wave. The Hampshire Constabulary Band welcomes the first anniversary visitors on board. More than 170,000 people have now toured the ship. With admission from £1.50 to £3 a head, Warrior's on her way to earning her first £500,000 and to breaking even. Most of the customers look satisfied. Captain Colin Allen is responsible for the maintenance of Warrior, and for that he keeps in daily contact with the northeast. By the look of his cabin, some of his predecessors sometimes enjoyed a spot of poetry and a spot of something harder, before eventually hitting the cot. But the job's changed since the days of Arthur Cochrane, the ship's first captain.
I see myself very much as sort of a seaside, I was going to say landlady, but a hotel owner, and we are at the moment we're seasonal. I have begun to break even in the last couple of months, but I would expect to have to make sufficient to carry me over the lean winter months, unless we can, by whatever device, extend the season so that we get more people, a more steady flow of people coming throughout the year, which is what we hope to achieve.
Now, Captain, I have got one question from the crew, and that is, can you please reintroduce the rum ration just for today?
I was one who never regretted the passing of the rum tot. I actually have 2 strict rules, certainly when they're on duty: they don't smoke and they don't drink.
Sorry lads, but I did ask him. As it is, the crew had their hands full today with visitors whose presence proved that Warrior has now developed international appeal. They'd come from America.
It's very impressive.
From Sri Lanka.
Nice here.
And from Zimbabwe.
Well, I was in the Navy during the war, and it was like the smells, the sounds were terrific.
This is all bringing it all back to you, is it?
Yes. Once you've been in it, you never quite get rid of it, you know.
I'm homeward from China, on board of a limey liner. Turn me runs, hooray, hooray. Get on me long top blues, or to dance them girls around. Turn me high low, me runs, hooray.
Well, I've come below now to the mess deck where Warrior's 450 seamen lived, ate and slept in hangars slung over the guns behind me here, and all that for £1 a day for lowly Jack Tar. Well, someone else who lived aboard for more than 20 years was Brenda Randallson. Now, Brenda, you were a young girl in the 1930s. The ship here was your home, and that was, of course, when Warrior became a floating oil jetty off Milford Haven. It's the first time you've seen her today. What are your impressions?
I had no idea she was going to look like this whatsoever.
No idea at all?
No.
Now, I can't imagine it being your home. What part of the ship did you live in?
In the stern quarters.
In the stern quarters?
Yes.
So did you ever come down below here?
Only on as far as this deck, and I was never allowed down on the bottom deck of all.
Why was that?
I suppose they thought it was too dangerous for me.
It must have been a marvellous playground for you.
Oh,
then.
it was, yeah, proper wonderland.
So what would you, with the area up above in your playground, what sort of things would have happened up there?
Well, I used to go fishing, and I used to ride my bicycle, little small two-wheeler bike, round and round the decks.
Now, I know you've had a little look round. What sort of memories have come flooding back?
Well, I had quite a few little memories, you know, as you go through the ship there. You can see the hatch, I can recall, and the steps.
And of course you had your wedding reception on board.
That's right,
Did
yes.
you deck out the whole ship?
No, just the part that we had the wedding reception in.
Oh, it must have been lovely. Well, we'll let you have another little look round, because I'm sure you're dying to. But that's all from us here for the moment. We'll be back on Warrior later, but we'll now go for further news of the day to our own studios.
National officers from the country's biggest civil service union, the CPSA, have taken up.
Middlesbrough, with funds from a tobacco company, has come under strong criticism from local authorities and teaching unions. Plans for the college were announced on Teesside this afternoon by the Education Secretary, Kenneth Baker, as part of the government's Action for Cities programme. But his critics say the college could damage existing education institutions and threaten the independence of the school curriculum.
The Teesside College
Missions are as interesting to people in the northeast who followed the reconstruction as they are here in the south. There's only one snag. Because of the success of the Warrior project, key members of the restoration team are now very much in demand, and they're simply too busy to join us here today. So where are they? What have they been up to? We sent Alan Powell along to find out.
The team that brought Warrior back to life is still together and busy at this very moment at Tobacco Dock in the East End of London. They're finishing off the latest contract, which they won as a direct result of the high standard of their workmanship on Warrior. 30 northeast craftsmen are reassembling the steel hulls of 2 replica sailing ships, which were built at their Hartlepool works and then transported in bits to this now landlocked Docklands site.
I don't think anyone's ever built 2 ships in 28 days the way we've built these. I think that's a hell of an advert for Hartlepool. The Three Sisters is a clipper ship of the type that brought tobacco to Tobacco Dock when the Tobacco Dock was thriving. And this time it's going to be put on as an exhibition to let people see what actually happened. And the small ship was a French blockade runner, sloop, very, very fast indeed, as you can appreciate by the size of the masts and the size of the ship. You know, I don't think anything would have been able to catch, and that's what she did. She ran around the blockades and dodged all the patrols and in and out and cannon fodder or whatever.
Like the London Docklands, derelict waterfronts all around Britain are being transformed by the developers, and Hartlepool is getting its facelift too. A multi-million-pound scheme is being prepared to create a complete village environment around a spectacular marina here, and one of the focal points will be the restoration of Foudroyant. When Foudroyant arrived off Hartlepool a year ago, she made a splendid sight, even though she is indeed a rather battered old lady. She was built in Bombay in 1817, and she's the oldest surviving frigate of the Napoleonic era. It was thought that she'd be spending 3 years undergoing restoration. Sadly, it now looks as though her stay in Hartlepool could be a lot longer. The main reason is money. Restoring Foudroyant and returning her to Portsmouth could be just as expensive as Warrior, £7 million.
The survey that has been undertaken so far would indicate that generally the ship is sound. Most of the timbers are good. There is a degree of water coming in, as I said. The ship has to come out the water to make a full inspection, to make a full survey of what is behind the copper sheathing.
Another reason for the delay is Hartlepool's own Dockland redevelopment plans, due to be unveiled in a few weeks' time. And somehow those plans have got to include a dry dock for the town's burgeoning ship restoration industry.
The Tees and Hartlepool Port Authority are wanting a feature like the Warrior shipyard to be here to attract people. They want to see the masts and spars and the rigging and the old sailing ships. You know, it's a feature that's going to be a big part of this area.
Now, what have your team got to go back to when they get back to Hartlepool?
Well, we do have jobs in the offing at Hartlepool, but nothing immediately. So the prospects are that this team, after being down here another 5 or 6 weeks, will go back and probably take the holidays, and they'll have something to follow on. Food drawings lying there, deteriorating every day, and hopefully someone will come along shortly, you know, in the near future and put up the funds, or some of the funds. Otherwise, she's going to sink, I believe.
Well, let's hope that won't happen. John McRae, Mayor of Hartlepool, you're down here today having a look around. The Warrior really has started something for Hartlepool, hasn't it?
Certainly has. It's the start of a new industry. It's lifted Hartlepool. Well, Hartlepool's lifted itself up with this boat. We've got in the docks now 3 boats which are being restored. Not as good as the Warrior, but from the same period. The Foudroyant, which is an old boat. The Minerva, which is a monitor. And we've got the Wingfield Castle, a paddle steamer.
Now, you saw this ship here, Warrior. You saw this right from the start. Tell me how you first saw it coming in from your room.
I saw it come in from my bedroom window. It was an absolute wreck. And the council took some stick when it really came in. We saw it coming.
What did they all think?
They thought the councils were mad. They thought the town was mad, but we've proved them wrong. Well, we didn't prove them wrong. The people of Hartlepool have proved them wrong. And this boat shows that if Hartlepool is given the opportunity, it can really turn out a first-class job.
You've actually watched it change. How slow was the change?
Oh, it was a very slow change. It wasn't until the mast really went up that we realised something was happening. Everything was happening below decks. But once the mast came up, people became aware of it, and the people started to come on it. I'm only sorry that the people of Hartlepool couldn't be here now and go down the ship and see the great changes that have taken place.
Latest developments on the docks that Alan was talking to us about there?
Well,
something coming up soon?
Well, I don't want to give any secrets away, but we shortly hope to make an announcement on Monday.
On Monday. I look forward to hearing what that is. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Right, well, I'm glad you could come down here today.
Fantastic here today, and a bonus is, of course, the good weather here in Portsmouth. I don't know what it's been like in the northeast today, but now with a weather forecast for both our regions, here's Martin Davies.
Thank you, Sally. Well, I'm gathered I'm standing on what's called the Conning Bridge, and where better to do the weather forecast from. You know, I'd love to send you some of our glorious sunshine up northeast there, but the temperatures are in the 20s, it's hot, you wouldn't like it. I shouldn't gloat, because what's actually going to happen is you're going to send us some of your miserable low cloud. Certainly tonight, those northeasterly winds are going to spread the cloud right across both regions, so a cloudy night everywhere, temperatures down to around 10, but generally dry. I think just in the northeast, where the cloud's a little bit thicker, you might see 1 or 2 spots of drizzle along the coast. But for tomorrow, well, up in the northeast, it's going to be very much like today. Still those northeasterly winds coming off the North Sea. I'm sure you all know what that means. Lots of cloud, particularly on the coast, where again there'll be spots of drizzle here and there. So anyone on holiday up in the northeast, go west. You might find a little bit of sunshine. If you go right to the west of the region, particularly during the afternoon, the cloud perhaps breaking just a little. Where the sun does come through, you might see temperatures up to 19, but elsewhere only 13. And down here in the south, well, it's again like today. There'll be some sunshine around. It's going to start cloudy everywhere, but the sun will come through during the afternoon, and again, temperatures like today, perhaps just nudging the 20s. Once again, winds light, mainly from the northeast, but for ongoing sailing, the wind's probably coming in onshore during the afternoon, just to force 2 or 3. As I say, top temperatures about 20, that's 68. So another fine day down here, but a cloudy, miserable one up north. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's a bit of a mix. I'm terribly sorry. Wish it could be lovely everywhere. Well, now, Captain Allen, you've had a wonderful day, haven't you?
We've had a perfect day. It really has been. Starting with the weather, we've had a lot of people we've got together. We've got events on board, and you've seen them, which are appropriate to the ship, and that's what we want, to celebrate. And I think looking around, you see, I hope you see, beaming, happy faces, because that's what we want. It's our birthday. And it's been a fabulous one.
Well, we're very, very pleased that we were part of it, aren't we, Simon? We've had a fantastic
wonderful
time.
Coming down to share this, having seen it growing in the northeast and bringing a few northeast faces down with us. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you look after the ship.
I will do my best.
They certainly look as though they're going to. Well, that's about it from us here. So we'd just like to say a very good night from South today.
And also a good night from Look North. We're going to be played out by the Fort Cumberland Guards. Good night to you.
Fire!
Tuesday entertainment on BBC One. In a moment, Mike Reed and Gary Davis introduce Top of the Pops. Then at 7:30, there's a problem with entertainment at the Vic.
Got a couple of comics in mind,
What
Sue.
kind of comics?
They're not exactly Blue Peter, darling.
Frank, this is our big chance. Between Wilmot Brown and the Maori Celeste, down in his Ponzi wine bar, this is the only family pub for streets around here.
At 8 o'clock, it's Kenny Everett with his new digital quiz. It's zappy, it's fun, it's...
Brainstorm!
And at 8:30, the Boswells return in Bread.
Do you remember the last picture you bought?
Poisoning one day.
Julie put a hole through it. I told you there was no money in holy pictures.
At 9:30, more miracles with the magic of David Copperfield.
I'm going to put myself to the test as I attempt to escape from Alcatraz.
At 10:20, Sir Robin's guests in Question Time are MPs Michael Heseltine and John Smith, editor of the Sunday Times Andrew Neil, and Baroness Sear. And with an 80th birthday tribute to Dan Maskell at 11:20, that's Thursday evening on One.
And we begin by climbing to the top of the pops.
Welcome to Top of the Pops. We've got a real stunner lined up for you tonight. First of all, here's a word from my good mate Gary Davis.
Thank you very much. Hello. We start tonight with something really special. She's literally just flown in by helicopter to perform live tonight. Last year she took Europe by storm. This year she's taking Britain by storm. At number 4, here's Sabrina and Boys.
Everybody's got a cop. Don't stop, don't move. I just